Hello and welcome to step 5 of our drawing guide video. In this step we'll be going over kind of techniques I use to do the environment. So let's get started. One of the first things techniques I use when drawing is to actually have everything on kind of a gray tone. This keeps the colors from becoming too intensive and thus overshadowing the characters. One of the things I also do is I try to avoid actually doing outlines of the background, particularly in black. So I'll go ahead and draw what's going to become a grassy hill here. So we got just our basic grass. Alright, or just our basic shape of what's going to be our hill. Next, let's go ahead and put a tree on this hill. Go and create a new layer. So I make this big. One of the things I've learned about trying to do branches on trees is your pressure sensitivity is actually a really good, useful tool for doing branches and trees and such. It could be kind of, I wouldn't say sloppy, but you don't have to be really strict about it. Kind of helps give it this free-form feel that's going to make a nice branch. See, it's kind of rough, kind of wobbly, but that's okay. In fact, that's pretty good. Just going to smooth this out a little bit. Alright. Now that we have our hill and our tree, we're going to go do grass. Now, a simple trick for doing grass is you select your base color, or kind of what's your basic shape, kind of this area here, that's your base. And you make 2 copies of that color over here in the color palette. And you come here and take one of them, and I like to make one darker. So let's go ahead, make it dark, come over here, and because this is Photoshop, we are going to use a custom brush of grass. I'm going to take that, probably reduce it down in size, scattering. Let's go ahead and scatter up on both axes. It makes it a little quicker to do. Our big thing here is color dynamics. With the foreground and background jitter, which is right here, our foreground and background. By turning up that jitter, it will actually create ranges of in between the 2 colors that we have selected. So when I come in here, I can make blades of grass. And to keep them all from looking exactly the same, or to help them be distinguishable from each other, just by glancing over it, that's where the extra shades of colors come in. Now I'm just kind of putting it in there kind of sloppily. Try and create a nice random organic feel to it. Down, so let's come up to scattering and turn that down a little bit. So we could do the top of the hill. And I did something wrong, so I have to undo everything. I'm using a keyboard shortcut to undo stuff, so another great thing. I forgot to make a layer above my grass. Alright, so let's try this again. Put that up. Alright, so the grass is actually going to go above a layer above the base. It's a good thing for this brush because this is just really quick and easy to do. And it adds a lot to the picture while keeping it very simple. Well, adds a lot to the picture, but simple to do. So it's the best kind of techniques. that I like. Turn down our scatterer again. Then do a top of our hill now. Kind of come down here to help make it not look so clear. Alright, so now we have our grass, and we have the base underneath. If I turn off the base, that's what it actually looks like, hence which is why we have our base. But I'm going to come to our base, and I'm actually going to take the brush, reduce the hardness on it, maybe increase the size a little bit because it's a bigger drawing, and go along the top of our base. That's a bit too much. Let me turn this off. Gonna go along the top of our base and get rid of that hard edge. Now I'm gonna put the grass up. Ta-da! Maybe I cut a little too low in one area. Yeah, I cut a little low there. Yeah, now with our grass, as you can see, it's difficult to see where that hill tip was. But we're not done with it yet. We still got the root of our tree right here. So we got to fix that as well. So just create a layer above that. Select the grass. Keep the scattering and stuff all there. Reduce the size perhaps a little bit much there. Let's go ahead and expand that out a bit. And just gently put it over a layer. The grass is this is really easy to do. The grass all at once. So that way you don't have to try and get the two exact colors again, unless you're using a color palette. Which I wasn't, so I like to do them both at the same time, the layer above the tree and the layer behind the tree. Now we got also her feet, which we're going to need a layer above her. It looks like she's standing in grass rather than just floating above it. Let's turn our scatter up a bit here. Alright. So now we have that done, so let's come and do the trunk of our, not the trunk, the leaves of our tree. Just like the grass, it's going to involve the use of colors, but unlike the grass, we are not going to be using a base for it. We're going to come here, and because it's Photoshop, select a nice little speckled brush. Come here, go to scattering, shaping, turn up our scatter, set our spacing so we get kind of this nice poofy look thing to it. Turn on our color dynamics, and let's see how it comes out. Alright, that's coming out nice. Using kind of the poofy feature of it, we could kind of get these nice gaps in the leaves and stuff instead of having a solid shape. There we go. Nice bushy tree. Let's do some leaves above the branches. I don't like that one. No. So let's come here. Particularly where your branches end, if you have them end in the tree, it's a good idea to sprinkle a few leaves over it. Kind of help make it look like there's some dimensions to the tree. Actually, keep using the word dimensions, but that, you know, you got leaves hanging out in front of the branches of your tree and such. Alright, that looks good. Now let's do our background. Take a sky, make it a nice light blue. Light blue skies work better than a true blue sky such as this, which looks really intense and strong. So kind of, that's a little too white. But just a nice light blue sky. Alright. Let's go ahead and let's add a mountain in the background. Now, there's lots of different ways to do mountains. One of the things that I've learned is to that the coloring on them is actually, during the day, can actually seem kind of bluish. Kind of a blue-gray going on here. That's nice. Now, you're probably wondering, why don't I just take the paint bucket to fill that in? Well, if I do that, then I can get kind of these nasty, jagged the edges on it. Because it's the same color, so it likes to blot them together, and it will really accentuate the pixels on it. So I prefer instead to keep things smooth. Alright, so we got a nice little mountain there in the background, but it still doesn't quite look right. It took me a while to learn how to do mountains. One of the things I learned, actually from rewatching the old Justice League cartoons, is how to kind of use, is that you can actually kind of use kind of these shadows in them to make it look less like a cone. Fill that in. So now it's back out. It's looking pretty good. I think we put some up here on the edge. Oops. Turn on all layer sensitivity. There we go. There. That actually looks like a pretty nice mountain. Now, see, now we need clouds. Yes, we need some clouds. Clouds are something I've experimented a lot in different ways from time to time. I have a new theory on how to do clouds, but I haven't tried it out yet, so I'm going to stick with my more traditional technique that I've been using, which is take a paintbrush, make its edges really soft, give you these nice little fluffy edges to it, and just kind of it's a little low. Just loosely dance it around. Make some bigger and smaller to portray distances. Put them behind stuff. There we go. So now we have most of our drawing in the background done. But there's some little tweaks and stuff we can do to make it even better. By grabbing the burn tool, which is something that it kind of takes a bit of experience to use, but it can save a lot of time and help do some really unique things. Just going to take it, and in the case of the clouds, there we go, going to take it and kind of, not necessarily rough, but slightly darken the edges, the undersides of the clouds, to give them that nice kind of shadowy feel, or shadows underneath them. I'm going to come here to the mountain, and I'll do the same thing on the mountain. I'm not going to do it real intense, just kind of real light and quick. This is to just kind of break up the solidness of the shape. The grass, I'm going to do the same thing. I think I'll do it kind of around here. This is just to kind of break up the shape, so your eye, so it doesn't feel real flat, but your eye is not necessarily drawn to a particular aspect to it. The key to kind of a good background art is it should give you an idea for the scenery, help set the mood, but you shouldn't actually truly notice it. If you're truly noticing it, then there's something that's probably gone slightly wrong with it. It might look really good, and that's good if that's what you want, but if it's distracting from your characters and from what you want their attention piece to be, then it's not succeeding. So it should contain enough detail that your viewer knows where it's at, but but should be plain enough that they aren't focusing on it. Now, continuing with the branches now, and the shadow tool. Just going, oops, that's a little too dark. Just kind of go through, running real quick along the branches, just kind of giving that darkened, kind of uneven shading look to it. I'm going to come and do the same things to the leaves, particularly the ones in the background. I'm going to probably leave the ones up front alone. Yeah, I think I'll leave those alone for the most part. I'll probably darken this corner bit up here some. Yeah, that part to help match the background more. And there we have it. We have now just finished our environment. If we come and take a look at the layers, we can see that if we started at layer 5 here with Aurora, and we built up to layer 15 at the highest. So we added 10 new layers over the course of this process. So you can of course reduce that by compacting things and so on and so forth, but you can kind of see just how working with an environment can quickly add layers to your project, but also by adding more layers, it allows you to do more editing techniques and different stuff like that. So yeah, it's something that just takes a lot of practice. If you looked at my earlier stuff, my background was either distracted and it had hard lines, some of it wasn't that good, and it's just something that you kind of develop over time. So go ahead, if you're struggling with your backgrounds, experiment with things, try new things, and find a style that you like. And that's it for today's tutorial. I'll be doing another step because our drawing still isn't quite finished, but we're approaching the end, so thanks for watching and have a very nice day.